Today I will explain how to set up 90-degree milling using hyperDENT CAM software with the DOF Craft 5X milling machine. In this guide, we will review where to find the setting, how to apply it correctly, and when this option should be used during the milling workflow. Let's take a closer look step by step. Unlike posterior restorations, aesthetic considerations are much more important in the anterior. Therefore, the proximal areas also need to be milled precisely and completely. The restoration on the left was milled using the 90-degree milling setting, while the restoration on the right was milled using the conventional milling method. To perform 90-degree milling, an open-type jig is required. The restoration is positioned in the open section of the jig, and then it is milled in a vertical 90-degree orientation. In the past, only the closed O-type jig was available, which limited this type of milling approach. Therefore, an open-type jig is necessary for 90-degree milling. With the DOF milling machine, both jig types are provided as standard. First, I imported the STL file of the completed anterior restoration design. Next, I will import the restoration and position it inside the zirconia puck. Since all information files are available, both the margin information and the insertion path are displayed correctly. I will position the design toward the open side of the jig to ensure that the proximal area is milled completely and accurately. Select the user-defined area menu and draw the area including the proximal region. You can create lines by clicking multiple times, or you can draw the area by clicking and dragging. The most important point here is to ensure that the Z-axis angle is set to 90 degrees. If it is not set correctly, layer marks may appear on the restoration after milling. This can affect the surface quality, especially in the proximal area. I created the boundary by clicking 3 points first, and then added additional points by clicking in the empty areas to refine the boundary. It is not important how large the area is drawn. The important point is to make sure the proximal area is included. Once the boundary is completed, it will be displayed in pink. After completing the milling setup, you can use the simulation to verify whether the 90-degree milling has been applied correctly before starting the actual milling process. If you confirm that the Z-axis angle is set to 90 degrees before milling, you can achieve results like this. In this video, I introduced a function that allows the milling burr to approach vertically, enabling more precise milling of the proximal area, especially in anterior restorations. Thank you.